Hello, good evening. Welcome back to the book narration of the book Everyone Has a Myth to Tell, written by me, published by Himalayan Publications. Himalayan Publication is the sister concern for Dehradun Literature Festival. It's one of the biggest festivals around. I was there this October and I'm going to be there again this coming October. Before we start with our narration, I would just like to say one thing about this time, this COVID-19 time. This time can either break you or make you. The choice is yours. So let us begin. In our story, we all know that the aliens have come to Earth and they want to talk spirituality but are unable to. And now Gautam Buddha will take birth. And the story will progress with Gautam Buddha as being a main protagonist. So let us begin. Legend has it that Queen Maya, the wife of King Suddhodana, dreamt one night of a white elephant planting a lotus flower in her womb. She was sure upon getting up from her sleep that she had the baby of King Suddhodana in her. And 9 months later, on a full moon night, Siddharth Gautam took birth. The sages declare on the day of Siddharth Gautam's birth that he is not only destined to rule all over Earth, but also across interstellar dimensions. It was prophesied that Siddharth Gautam would one day be the ruler of a whole galaxy. It was as if King Suddhodana's dream had come true. He received an extension to his dream, a progression of his lineage over his plans to capture Tryptamite and other galaxies. The prophecy of Gautam ruling a galaxy boosted King Suddhodana's morale, and Siddharth was fed the goal ever since his birth. His studies on warcraft in correspondence to the new fission and fusion technology started at a very early age, and that gave him a natural ease of handling new era technology. Since the age of 8, Siddharth was playing with plasma beams and quantum weapons, and had modern understanding about the blue-black plasma. Apart from warcraft, he was also trained extremely well in yoga and meditation. His teachers believed that the greatest things in life could only be accomplished with 100% focus. And they were teaching him how to focus, but how to focus on war. Siddharth Gautam was already a legend in the making. He was the talk of the town, the great warrior child, born to defeat the aliens of Tryptamine, the liberator of Bharat and planet Earth. Siddharth Gautam, the future king of Kapilavastu. With time, King Suddhodana's dream had expanded, and he had become greedier and more restless. His mega interdimensional dreams corrupted him from inside. His extreme attachment to all these material desires of land and gold and power had rendered him susceptible and insecure. And the loving father was long lost by now. All he cared about was victory against the Tryptamites through his human device that he had given birth to. Often, as if under a psychological fit, he would call high priests from all across Bharat again and again and commanded them to check the stars, to check if everything was in order. He would tell them to repeat the prophecy to satisfy his flaming ego. Tell me, what will Prince Siddharth grow up to be? He will grow up to be the ruler of this whole galaxy, Huzur, scared priests would say. In fact, he will be Raja, the king, and you will be Maharaja, the king's father, they would add. To rescue themselves from the Raja's wrath, they would say anything. King Suddhodana would stroke his beard and feel proud thinking about himself becoming the Maharaja, the father of the whole universe. This became a practice. To pacify his heart and boost his ego, Suddhodana started to call priest almost every second moon cycle. A renowned priest, Vishwamitra, from the depths of the Himalayas with world-known psychic capabilities was passing by Kapilavastu. The king invited him over for a feast and some astrological prophecies. After a humongous meal, the court sat down at their respective places in a huge hall with telescopes attached to the windows of the court. But the famous priest Vishwamitra started to stare deep into the sky without the telescope. After a long scrutiny, he came and stood in front of the king and told him that he could show the king what the stars were saying through telepathy. The king was pleased. He wanted to see how the world would look like when Earth had captured all the 9 dimensions. You will have to concentrate, king. You will have to allow me to enter your mind, he requested, and brought his attention to a round, transparent crystal ball. The number of colors that the crystal ball could reflect was a lot more than that could be seen here on earth. Its glitter and shine reflected in Suddhodana's eyes. First, the king fell in awe of the glittering colors, and then suddenly he got pulled inside the crystal and went deep in. For a moment he felt he was captured inside the glass, but soon a visual was revealed to him in crystalline form. It was that of a young Siddharth Gautam, sitting peacefully under a banyan tree with a smile on his face, wearing an orange garb. With him sat all the other species of earth, meditating in bliss. In the sky, Suddhodana could see the reflection of all other dimensional beings meditating with everybody in perfect equilibrium. And in the background ran the magician's voice. The stars are all in line, King Suddhodana. The path is open for Siddharth Gautam to become a king. But he will be the king of compassion, he said. Instead of capturing, he will unite all galaxies. He will reach the inner balance, and that will make him the king of his domain. His rule will be a symbol of universal unity, not destruction. The king started to feel uncomfortable now. What was this mad sage saying? What is this blasphemy about compassion and love and meditation and all? He wanted to break free of the glass projection and wanted to order the execution of the sage. He started to shake and break. He tried real hard and was successful. But as soon as he looked at the sage, he vanished into thin air. A sound of mumbling hushed and filled the halls as everyone started to whisper. It was a miracle how the sage vanished in front of the whole assembly. The king was enraged. He burst out in anger. "King of compassion, my foot!" the king shouted. "These sages and their hypnotic meditation, he wanted my bloody throne, this mad sage. Find him, execute him, I don't care," he commanded. He roared. One day after this incident, King Suddhodana and the young Prince Siddharth were inspecting the rice fields. Suddhodana was talking to the peasants, instructing them, while Siddharth was looking at a long convoy of ants coming in and out of cracks on land. They must be living in there, he thought to himself. There could be a palace of ants beneath the ground. The ants must be falling in love in the garden of those palaces. They may be living in a household, probably a whole ant nation, a whole country. Siddharth had started to enjoy the play of a whole ant world beneath the ground. He started to fantasize, and there would be a loving prince ant that took care of his subjects, and everybody respected him. He was thinking about how peaceful and connected to nature the ants lived, touching bare mud all time, hugging earth. When suddenly a plough came and hit the ground hard and dug up the whole spot. All ants and their home were thrown helter-skelter by the mighty metal of the plough. Siddharth shouted at the peasants and told them to stop. "There is a whole ant colony down there, you kill them." Peasant: "But master, we have to plant our seeds here. Without digging up mud, how will we do that?" "How can you kill someone just like that? Don't you have any consideration?" asked Gautam. Peasant: "In order to survive, we kill so many things every day without even noticing." The peasant was trying to control the enraged prince when his father intervened. "These ants are nothing, Gautam. Be strong. You are getting ready to kill a whole race of alien beings. Get a hold of yourself," said Suddhodana. Gautam: "These ants are innocent. The aliens invaded our planet and tried to kill us. That is why we had to fight. We have to fight in self-defense. Fighting in self-defense is a righteous act to save home, to save dharma." "What have you been learning?" said King Suddhodana. "Don't you know how many innocent lives go in fighting the war? Don't you know about collateral damage? War requires sacrifice, and the weak are always sacrificed. May they be guilty or innocent. Strengthen yourself and stop acting so weak." Gautam: "I will not kill innocent people. If war requires innocent lives, then I will not fight." Saying this, young Siddharth Gautam turned and walked away, crying, leaving his father enraged and bewildered. The king suddenly remembered the priest Vishwamitra and the words that he spoke. King Suddhodana had glimpsed Gautam's compassion and could somehow feel that the magical priest could be right. But this was his son, his product. He knew how to filter this feeling out of Gautam's mind and instead drill in the thoughts of war and plunder. There was still time. Gautam was only 10 years of age. After taking advice from Shastri, a unique psychological plan was made. It was a plan to hide all suffering from Gautam and to create an illusion of suffering-free world. Psychological filter and shaping of thoughts was possible, and it was in fact easy in such a monitored environment like that of a king's palace. Siddharth was still pretty young, and his memories and thoughts were malleable. So in the closed walls of the royal palace, everything was made to become perfect. All staff was ordered to never talk about sadness and suffering. All moves of Gautam were strictly scrutinized. All of Gautam's rounds outside the premise of the palace were routed by the cunning Shastri himself. All exits on the roads were blocked. Any iota of suffering was removed from sight. A visual picture of a happy capital was painted successfully. A few state-implanted villagers often shouted, "Hail King Alien Slayer, save us from the Tryptamite Prince Gautam." An illusion of perfect peace and harmony prevailed in the surroundings of the palace. And the only suffering that was made to be believed was that of the Tryptamites attacking earth, of the Tryptamites troubling mountain farmers, attacking temples, what not. Hatred against the Tryptamites was poured into this pure soul.